Welcome. We're on a train heading towards the south of the Netherlands, and I'm with 5 other people going on what's called a STEM raid. Now, I'll only find out what that is when we get there, but it looks like it's going to be very exciting to find out what other people are doing across Europe with regards to STEM. So, we'll have a little chat with all the other 5 and see what they want to get out of this trip. For me personally, I think it's going to be fascinating to look at what other people do with regard to STEM.
Well, I hope that we will find some activities that we can take to the UK and implement in our classrooms with perhaps Year 9 students onwards. I think we'll also observe some good practice in teaching in the classroom, and I think there'll probably be some new ways of teaching which will be sort of new to our thinking and which might inspire us to approach work in a different way.
There's 2 things I'm really looking forward for in this visit. First of all is a visit to the water bottling plants. It's like a holistic education for young people. So young people are involved in the manufacture, production of water, the bottling of it, quality standards, marketing, so they get a really good understanding of how business operates. And I'm looking for the growth mindset training on Wednesday linked to entrepreneurship.
I just want to see a comparative analysis of the curriculums that are on offer broadly across Europe, but mainly the links between vocational education and academic education and how they can both facilitate progression to higher education.
For me, it is about getting outside of the bubble of my classroom and workshop and school and seeing how other people teach design and technology, and to meet people and to maybe forge some links for the future.
I'm interested in how practice varies across countries and culture and how it can be transferable to the UK classroom. I'm particularly interested in the mindset workshop. It's an area of interest for me. With working in the Foundation Year Centre, I think that's something that we could apply to our own students and help develop and their potential.
Well, welcome again, everybody. Good to have you here. We've got the sun shining from the programme.
My expectations are to visit the college. I'm very much looking forward to visiting Theo's College here in Sertogenbosch. I've heard about all the good work they do in STEM. I'm also looking forward to the industry visit tomorrow. But as one key thing that we always achieve from these visits is the networking between the European partners, and we always think about what can we apply for in the future in terms of European projects, and that's something we always look towards.
That we inspire each other, and that we can show some STEM activities here in Holland, and create more ideas for later projects.
We hope to gain some information about the Dutch educational system, about how the STEM issues are sorted out or, developed. And we hope to learn from each other and to gain some good practice examples.
I expect from this week some experiences, some good practices and inspiration about STEM education.
It's very important for education, and in future, we will need designing skills, we will need their, computing skills, besides their math skills. So, it's very important for the European, future. This STEM is going to be the milestone of the future development of the European countries as well as Turkey.
Welcome to our first location at Crewe Multer and Dross. This is basically at the leading edge of system engineering. They're going to be looking at what makes systems work in buildings, marine and all sorts of applications.
And this is a B model? Yeah, I think the education can help with teaching the students about methods that they can use, like some software platforms, use and integration of software platforms in the design process. document control related skills, and also interpersonal skills, cooperating together, listening to different disciplines, listening to the requirements of a customer, and try to see how you can validate those requirements in an early stage of design so that you can really design effectively and efficiently for the needs of the customer. I do think that if you only are able to draw lines in software, for instance with building information modeling, then you're out of business. That's maybe very blunt to say, but I really do think that, and I see that within our company. We really need skills of the modeler right now that is able, that are focusing on moving objects, picking objects, keeping up libraries, keeping libraries up to date, and combining interdisciplines and information of customers and suppliers in one model, for instance. And a model, it is not necessarily a 3D model, but it can also be databases where different libraries come together or different information flows for different parties come together. So I think it's a very good business to be in. Yeah, and I think you're wanted. Students are wanted. Somebody who can read and write really well and express his ideas on paper and read well, so the requirements of the customer, for instance, and express ideas to other team members and to the customer. So communication skills are obviously really important.
Everyone is watching. I will give you a short presentation about the water factory.
The water processing plan is a unique project. It's about 8 years now that we are working with students to bottle water, and the students all sell the bottles of water, and they design the labels. The whole process is doing by students. It's very unique of our project Water Factory. They have experience, I think, for their life. The reality. We try to prepare the students for the reality, for the real world. When they have a diploma and they go to work, then we hope we prepare them well.
Lots of things have impressed me today. I've really enjoyed the visit to the water factory. I thought the student ambassadors were absolutely fantastic. So it's obviously really good that they're using their students in this capacity. I thought the visit to the business was superb. I think the ideas around systems and integration, excellent. And I really enjoyed the trip around the college and looking at the superb facilities, and just what a great place it must be to work.
I'm just bowled over by the enormity of the facility, the level of complexity of the resources that the students are allowed to access, engage and use on a regular basis. The concept of a working water plant in a sort of FE sort of basis of a college is just sort of polar opposites to the way we sort of operate in the UK, and how they get more out of it in the working world, and that sort of seamless transition to the more holistic educational approach that with the business that Ian was talking about. It's not by any way sort of subject specific. It's all about the bigger issue and this sort of collaborative approach and being able to be mathematical, good language skills and all those things, and then applying that with that sort of systems and ways of, it just seems a lot more progressive in terms of an organisation.
This week was very interesting because I recognize Netherlands education system, and for my work it will be a very important knowledge about this country, about this education system, and I can use my knowledge in my work.
Center of the thinking process. It's you could say the creative pit stop, the Bono's lateral thinking, and this is a model which is a bit of everything.
So what we're trying to do is to create an environment in which creativity and innovation are in the DNA of the school, so that we prepare students for the future. So they need to be skilled, they need to be craftsmen, but they also need to master the 21st century skills, like thinking skills. There are several techniques, processes, but also ground rules for the mindset, the basic principles of how to behave. And if you learn them and if you become more competent at them, then you can improve your creativity, and creativity is the basis for innovation, so that makes you more innovative. This school is a community college, which is vocational education, so we prepare students for the future workforce. So in order to prepare them very well, and in fact because of the ever faster changing society, we need to prepare them for the changes that come up and to prepare them for that. So they have to make the connections, so they need to be craftsmen in one area, one specific line of expertise they need to have, but they also need to make connections with other branches. I think creativity will become far more important than it is now, because it has always been important, but because society was more or less stable, you needed less creativity because there were less changes in the outside environment. And as the environment is changing faster, we need to keep up with that speed, and that's why creativity will become more and more important, and maybe even more important than craftsmanship in a particular area.
Yeah, it's a really good school. The teachers are great. The lessons, yeah, classes are good. People in the school is really good for everyone. Yeah, well, I want to the university. Yeah, I want to choose the site of bakery.
It was an inspirational week. It gave us an opportunity to reflect on some of the practices that we are engaged in, and to see how we can improve that in order to really attract young people's attention to STEM.
Really enjoyed the week here in Holland. It was a fantastic week. We learned all about STEM education in the college and got to visit a lot of different schools and classes to observe.
It's been a wonderful week. It's been very eventful, but I really enjoyed it. The one thing that I really liked is that in Czech, when they were asked what's going to be the topic in the Netherlands, from the top of my head, I said creative thinking and about jobs in the future, and I managed to put that into the program. The company visit on Tuesday was excellent. They really showed us where education needs to move on. It needs to change because roles in companies change. There's a different way of working for the future. We need to prepare our students for the future, so we need to change. That was good. It was good stuff. And on Wednesday and Thursday morning, we got tools to change the educational system that we have. So it all fitted in. It was not just loose things. It all was one big part, one big thing that came together, parts of a puzzle. And I'm really glad and fulfilled, feeling really good about this week.